Body awareness isn't just about feeling our body, it's also about listening to the signals it gives us in our relationships. Often, intuition, discomfort, or tension comes from the body and it protects us. But what happens when someone who also works with body awareness still doesn't respect our boundaries? We often assume that if someone deals with body awareness or spirituality, even as a helper, they must automatically be emotionally mature and self reflective. But reality doesn't always show this. Body awareness and emotional maturity are two different things. Someone may be deep in breathwork or energetics and still completely childish in emotional dynamics. If you have met someone who speaks beautifully about consciousness, but their actions show otherwise, this post is for you. The body always knows when someone doesn't respect our boundaries. It always signals it. This can look like tension in the chest, tightened stomach or throat, exhaustion after a meeting, a bad feeling you can't explain. But awareness means listening to these signs and not explaining them away, not saying, maybe I'm just too insensitive, or maybe this is normal. The body doesn't lie, and your body protects you if you listen. What are the signs? Sign 1: constantly changing plans and you keep adjusting. How it looks. For example, you agree on a time and they cancel last minute. They suggest a date and later say it doesn't work. You plan, they rewrite it as it suits them. And this happens over and over. Why it is a problem? This isn't flexibility or flow. It's irresponsibility and disrespect of your time. If someone reschedules once or twice for real reasons, that's fine. But if it is a pattern, it means your time and energy don't matter to them. What to notice? The first red flag usually shows up early. Cancelled meetings, lateness, vague communication. Yet we tend to give chances. Why? Because we long for connection and want to believe maybe it's just this once. But if it happens 3, 4 times, it's not a coincidence. It's a pattern. Sign 2. They make promises but take no action unless you call them out. How it looks. You can count on me, I will help you. Then silence. You check in, no response. You set a boundary, suddenly, oh yes, I'm working on it now. But in reality, no real follow through. Why it is a problem? This is image management. They don't offer help to truly support you, but to look good. And when you hold them accountable, they make a quick move to appear responsible, yet nothing actually changes. What to notice? If someone promises help, watch the actions, not the words. If they only move when you ask, that's not help. That's empty promises. Words are cheap, actions are expensive. Always watch the actions. Sign 3. They ignore your request for space and push their own agenda. How it looks? You clearly ask for time and space. The next day they message, let's meet, as if you hadn't said anything. Why it's a problem? It means they are not listening. Your needs don't matter. Only their agenda does. And when you communicate clearly, they simply glide over it because it's inconvenient for them. What to notice? If someone doesn't respect your request for space, that's a very clear sign. They do not respect your boundaries. And if you allow it once, twice, 3 times, you teach them that your boundaries don't matter. People will do what you allow, not what you ask. Sign 4. When you set a boundary, they project and gaslight. How it looks. You explain what wasn't okay. They respond, you are too rigid and inflexible. You need to work on yourself. You expect too much. Why it is a problem? This is a classic projection and gaslighting. Instead of taking responsibility, they shift the issue onto you. They suggest that the problem wasn't their behavior, it was your reaction. What to notice? Many people start doubting themselves. Maybe I am too rigid. But think, if you have adapted 3 times and they never did, who is really being inflexible? If someone reacts this way when you set a boundary, it means they cannot take responsibility. And this won't change just because you try harder. Sign 5. They use spiritual language to avoid responsibility. How it looks. All frustration comes from unmet expectations. Everyone should work on their own stuff. I'm working on myself too. Why it is a problem? This is a spiritual bypassing. Beautiful, wise words, but used to avoid facing the fact that they were disrespectful and irresponsible. Yes, there is truth in these sentences, but in this context, it's manipulation. Its subtitle says, you expected too much. Accept less. Accept that this is who I am. What to notice? Just because someone uses spiritual or psychological language doesn't mean they are actually doing the inner work. Many use this language as a defense, not for growth. Real growth isn't shown in what someone says, but in how they behave when there is conflict. What you should know about these dynamics. Number 1, your first bad feeling is usually right. Intuition often signals early on that something's off. But we crave connection and want to believe this time it will be different. Listen to that voice. It's usually telling the truth. Number 2, body awareness isn't equal emotional maturity. Someone may be a yoga teacher, meditation trainer, constellation facilitator, and so on, and still be emotionally immature. Narcissistic patterns, projection, and gaslighting exist in spiritual communities too. Spiritual practice is not protection against them. Number 3, your boundaries matter more than the other person's hurt feelings. When you set a boundary, the other person may get upset, or ego wants to fix it. But no, their upset is not our responsibility. We protect our energy by setting boundaries. And finally, number 4, if you see the same thing 3 times, it's not random, it's a pattern. And patterns don't change just because we try harder. They only change if the other person decides to change. That is not our job. If you are in a similar situation, ask yourself, am I constantly adjusting why the other person ignores agreements? Do they promise but not act unless I confront them? When I set a boundary, do they throw responsibility back at me? Do they use spiritual, psychological language but avoid responsibility? Do I have a bad feeling I keep explaining away or pushing aside? If your answers are yes, then you are not the problem. You are not too rigid or expecting too much. Expecting respect, consistency, and responsibility in a relationship is not too much. It is the bare minimum. Learning to set boundaries and keep them is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, your ego will want to go back. Yes, they might get upset. But we are not responsible for someone else's growth. We are responsible for protecting ourselves. And when we do, we create space for something better. Body awareness also means learning to listen to the signals of the body and acting on them. If your body signals tension, discomfort, or uncertainty in a relationship, it's not random. It's protecting you. Your job isn't to explain the feeling away, but to listen and act. Boundary setting is not rigidity. Boundary setting is body awareness in action. Subscribe to my newsletter to receive more content on body awareness, emotional maturity, and boundary setting. The link is in the first comment. Ever had a similar experience? Have you met someone in a spiritual community who spoke beautifully about consciousness but acted differently? Share it in the comments. You are not alone. Thanks for watching, and let's meet in the next video.